Welcome everyone to It's a Wrap with Rap. I am your host, Ron Rappaport. This podcast features extraordinary people who do special things to enrich our lives and also features people who have overcome major challenges and adversities in their lives to come out on top. Today we have 18-year-old Sam Mitchell, who was diagnosed at age 4 with autism. Although he is quite successful, he has had his trials and tribulations over the years. Sam hosts his own podcast called Autism Rocks and Rolls, where he has interviewed many prominent guests in various fields of endeavor who are autistic, such as singer and guitarist James Durbin, American scientist Mary Temple Grandin, and others. Sam even has a line of merchandise related to his podcast. Let's review what exactly autism is. Autism has been termed the great modern health concern. Autism is not a disease. So what exactly is autism? Well, autism spectrum disorders, or ASDs as they're called, are a group of developmental disabilities that can cause significant social, communication, and behavioral challenges. People with ASDs handle information in their brain differently than other people. ASDs are spectrum disorders. That means ASDs affect each person in different ways and can range from very mild to severe. Now, there are 3 different types of ASDs. There's autistic disorder, or your classic autism, Asperger Syndrome, which Sam has, and pervasive developmental disorder. Autistic disorder is what people think of when hearing the word autism. People with autistic disorder usually have significant language delays, social and communication challenges, and unusual behaviors and interests. People with Asperger's syndrome usually have some milder symptoms of autistic disorder. They might have social challenges and unusual behaviors and interests. However, typically they do not have problems with language or intellectual disability. Now, pervasive developmental disorder, those are where symptoms might cause only social and communication challenges. Most usually, they have fewer and milder symptoms than those with autistic disorder. In a nutshell, autistic people have difficulty understanding or responding to social norms and cues. A person may become overly interested in a topic or subject. Now, let's not confuse ADHD with autism. ADHD has symptoms such as frequently jumping from one task to another, being easily distracted, and difficulty focusing or concentrating, where autism has the symptoms of being unresponsive to common stimuli. Now, I want to go over just a few statistics. 1 in 150 children in the United States have an ASD. 1% of the population of children aged 3 to 17 have an ASD. The worldwide diagnosis is 1% and growing. ASDs are 4 to 7 times more likely to occur in boys than girls. ASDs are the fastest growing developmental disability, 10 to 17% annual growth rate. About half of the parents of children with an ASD notice their child's unusual behaviors by age 18 months, and about 4/5 notice by age 24 months. No one knows why kids have autism. Scientists and doctors are working to figure it out. With that said, welcome, Sam, to It's a Wrap with Rap. Glad to have you aboard.
Yeah, glad to be aboard too.
Let me start off by saying we have a couple things in common. One of them is we are both 1%ers, and the other one is we both like wrestling. Now, you're probably going, okay, what are you talking about, 1%ers? I am a male breast cancer survivor, and we are 1% of all breast cancer diagnoses. So I know a little bit about stigma, and I'm an advocate for male breast cancer. So we both share that. And as far as wrestling goes, I guess we'll have to get together someday and talk about that, because I've been following wrestling for a long, long time. So I could probably teach you a few things about those old guys in there. Anyway, I want our audience to get a sense of what it's like for an autistic person going through life through your experiences. Now, we know that you were diagnosed at age 4. So I want to ask you, what were the early years like in school, say from kindergarten to 8th grade? How were you treated by your peers and teachers? And tell us of your trials and tribulations in those years, as well as some of the best experiences you had during that time.
I had no best experiences to answer that part, first of all.
Okay.
But it was a difficult time frame for me. I was trying to figure out socialize. I didn't understand the world. Honestly, I didn't get like why am I human? I didn't get why we go down slides. I really didn't understand daily changes. I did have a good teacher, but it was a hard time for me. And my mom can tell you a little bit more about it.
Yeah,
Sure.
so I'm mom. I'm Gina.
Hi, Gina.
Hi. Yeah, thanks for letting me sit down on this.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, so I can kind of fill in the holes when Sam was really small, just because he, doesn't remember that. But yeah, Sam was diagnosed with autism when he was 4, and like you said in the intro, we did know fairly early that something was off as far as behavior went. He was very delayed in speech. He didn't like his routine messed up. He just kind of had all of the textbook symptoms of autism. So when he was 4, we got that diagnosis, and like he said, socially, he did, and he still has a hard time sometimes, kind of going in and out of conversations. Sometimes socially, things have to be explained to him. That comes very natural to somebody who's not on the spectrum. But then on the flip side of that, he's like you said in the intro too, intelligence wise, he's very intelligent.
Yeah.
He can tell you anything. You said wrestling, he can tell you anything about wrestling. He's very detail oriented and is a very successful podcaster. So
Yeah, when it comes to well, in a way, I think my details are when it comes to my work. But like talking, I don't talk in details. I work in details.
Gotcha. Well, what were your high school years like, especially your freshman year when everything changes so much from coming
Uh,
from middle school?
Well, I'm a senior in my high school, so
Right now,
I'm still
right?
I'm still going through high school. But freshman year, it was difficult. I was trying to get my feet wet. I didn't know who I was, like trying to figure that out. I'm not saying the classes sucked. They were just like hard to learn because of the transition and how it's different from middle school and high school, because middle school and high school is different. I mean, you're not as, I won't say taken care of, as babied, I guess is the way to say it.
Yeah.
You're responsible for yourself. I mean, granted, they're happy to help you, but you got to go to them. They don't come to you.
Yeah, it gets even more difficult when you go on to college and you're schooling after high school. That's when you're really on your own.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to kind of seek them out.
Yep, that's what's scary.
Yeah. So I listened to a bunch of your podcasts just to get some background information, and on one of them, you talked about a brain trip. Can you explain that?
Oh yeah, sure. I know which one this was. So a brain trip, to me, that's where. So this is like during my freshman year out also, because sophomore year I told her, like, I'm changing, period. I'm gonna become more social. I'm fitting in for the better or for the worse. I don't care what happens. I'm fitting in, period, whether I'm known good or bad. And the brain trip, to answer your question, was I took a little brain trip to figure out who I was, like, how's this going to happen? What steps do I have to take in order to become more social? How does this world work? Where do I see myself going, et cetera, et cetera. But one bad thing, it was good for the most part. I like 99.9% was pretty good.
Yeah.
One bad thing that came out of it was, at that time, I'm not now, but kind of am still actually, but not like badly now. One bad thing about it is I was arrogant, really arrogant. Like, you'll
Okay.
probably punch me in the face eventually.
well, and can I chime in just for a second?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Gina.
As far as the brain trip, when he explained it to me, the way I kind of saw it was someone who's not autistic, like changes and fitting in socially, for most people that are on the spectrum, comes easier. But I mean, he had to label this thinking process as a brain trip. And he had to step back and figure out, what am I going to change? And most people on the autism spectrum have to do that because
Right.
that's the brain wiring, so he had to call it something, and he had to take time to really figure it out. Whereas, a non-autistic person may not have to.
Yeah, we basically row the magical school bus. But just not in real life.
Yeah, just in your brain.
Bingo.
So you talk about, I think this was in another podcast, about the old Sam and the new Sam. So when did that transformation take place?
Sophomore year as well. The old Sam was quiet, reserved, kind of shy, didn't want controversy, felt stupid a lot. And I'm telling you right now, he's dead. He's
That's
in
good.
a
I'm
tombstone.
glad we got rid of him.
He's dead. He's 6 feet under. He's rotten, honestly, with his body's probably decomposed by now. But anyway, this new Sam, who's from head to toe, is
Yeah, you're looking good. Your new Sam's looking good.
Thank you. Got short hair. The new Sam's more sociable, willing to do this. Has more motivated than ever. Big dreams. Has like motivation. Become an entrepreneur. I mean, I'm dressed nice, like fancy shirt. Pants are looking nice. I can't really lift the leg up, but that's my point. Is if you told me old Sam would have been dressing up and I would never tell you that would have been happened a long time ago, but it's happening now, I guess. So,
Gina, you want to add something to that? Being mom?
Yeah, I mean, he has always been, he's been raised in a home where my husband and I have always, we've raised him to be respectful and to work hard and, but it just was kind of a different path, to get there. And he kind of had to decide, like, I'm not happy with this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I have to change something.
And I'm going to tell you right now, and this is the hard part with autism, to kind of piggyback off that. The best advice I can give is, this is unfortunate, but it's true. And I'm sorry, but it's true. It's highly likely. I'm not saying all the time. Granted, I feel like an idiot if I said that, but most people will not come to you. You have to come to them.
I see. Yeah. Yeah.
I have witnessed that throughout his life a lot. I'm a teacher.
Yeah, I know.
I teach in the same district that he goes to school in. And it was hard. I mean, it was hard at times to see Sam, there was bullying that happened, that bullying that I blatantly saw, and then bullying that I didn't see, that some he told me about. I know there's some that he didn't tell me about.
It was to protect you, because Mama Bear would come out.
He knows. But
which is good. We all need Mama Bear, believe me.
That was tough. And, to see that. And people just didn't, and still to this day, just didn't, they weren't necessarily mean to him all the time, but for a lot of people, it's easier to exclude than to learn.
So Gina, were you a teacher in any of Sam's schools?
I was his teacher.
Yeah.
I was his English teacher, and then
in the 8th grade.
In the 8th grade, but then I saw our school is set up to where one side is elementary and one side's middle school. So when he was in elementary, all I had to do was walk across the cafeteria. And then when he was in the middle school, I would see him in the hallways and stuff. But that was hard. Like, people, not necessarily adults, but kids, just, it was easier not to try to figure Sam out. It was easier just to not communicate with him.
So Sam, Gina being your English teacher, what about the other kids? I mean, wouldn't they try to kind of butter up to you because, Gina was the teacher? Or wouldn't they, kind of be nicer to you?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question at first, but now I do. Yes, I would say full on, when she was a teacher, more people were nicer to me than freshman year.
And you think that's because
she was the
teacher?
Correct.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
plus, people love her. So as a teacher,
So when
the
they were
respect falling on her is going to fall on me.
being nice to you, did you kind of think they were kind of being fakey about it, or did that run across your mind?
It did, but I mean, to be honest, I didn't know how to take it, which is unfortunate and sad, but it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still
So-
don't know how to take niceness sometimes.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
will. I mean, he'll come home and ask, like, he'll say, "Hey, this happened. Do you think they were being nice? Do you think that they were being a smart aleck? Do you think this? Do you think that?" And I just have to tell him what I think. But there's that social cue, that disconnect sometimes.
Well,
Yeah.
I still, when someone's even giving me a simple compliment, sometimes I don't even know if it's being nice. Which
Yeah.
is hard to tell.
So it could be compliments. What else could it be besides compliments that would throw you off?
What else could it be? Sarcasm,
Okay.
which I'm big on, and I am kind of sarcastic. But what else could it be?
Somebody being condescending.
Condescending,
Maybe some cynicism, that type of
Yep.
thing.
manipulative.
Okay. Yeah, I can see where that would be an issue.
I don't trust anyone. I got a lot of trust issues also to go with that.
A lot of trust issues.
Lots of trust issues. I even trust her 100%. I'll be honest. No, I'm serious. I trust you, but if it makes you feel any better, I trust you 99.9.
That makes me feel a lot better. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, the older you get, the more it'll get to 100%. Trust me. What influence, Sam, did your parents have on you when you were growing up?
Oh, big time. They tried to raise me right really well. I think they did a good job. I hope they did. I hope they think they did. I think
they did.
I think that there were times where this ain't me downplaying you, so don't get the wrong idea. But I think there were times where she should have been more, how can I word this? Helping instead of disciplining. You know what I mean? Where instead of disciplining me, she should be like, oh, he's having an autistic moment. Let's help him instead of ground him from his video games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I completely agree. I mean, I always go back to all parents, non-autistic, autistic, doesn't matter. We're gonna mess up.
Yeah.
We're not perfect. And I'm sure there were times where Sam was really just having a hard time with something, and we were just like, seriously, stop it. And he couldn't. And then he got something taken away, but that was tough especially when he was younger. It's like, is he really throwing a tantrum here because he's being a turd, or is it really? And we got it right most of the time, I think.
I think you did too.
There were times.
But I think there were times where you're like, oops, I probably should have done this instead.
Yeah, I think all parents.
I think there were times where I was having and being a turd, it was an autistic moment.
Right, absolutely.
And times me thought it was an autistic moment, I was being a turd.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree.
So, Sam, help us understand autistic people, how they see and process the world differently than the rest of us.
Sure. It's different brain wiring. I think it depends on who you are. I'll give you an example. One to guess, you said Mary Temple Grandin. She thinks pictures and pictures and mathematics. I mean, animal science. I'm thinking, whoa, that's not me. I think English, words, music, wrestling. Like, it's kind of like a little dance in my eyes.
Which is so incredible because they have the exact same diagnosis.
Yeah.
Dr. Temple Grandin and Sam, they're both on a piece of paper, on wherever it says whatever, society calls it a disability, but we don't call it a disability. So
No, and I hate using, I hate using that term. It's not a disease, obviously. They use the word disorder or disability, and I don't like it either. But that's what you see in the literature all the time, when you research it.
And I don't want to say that it's not that completely, because people that are on the spectrum have challenges.
Oh, some challenges.
Major challenges. However, on the flip side of that, I'm not on the autism spectrum and I have challenges.
Oh yeah,
So
you can't.
Yeah, we all do.
That's a challenge.
We're all disabled if we want to get technical. Like he's no more disabled than I am.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but yeah, I don't remember where I was going. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. His Dr. Grandin and Sam have the exact same diagnosis, but they think differently. Like she thinks in pictures, she, like he said, mathematics and architecture, and she can build things, and that's not how his brain works.
I mean, granted, I'm partially visual and I learn visually, but if you're taking like on a daily basis, it's words. Like
yeah,
you tell me, like if you get straight to the point, you're like, it's raining cats and dogs. I mean, I'm smart enough now, but when I was little, I would take that literally.
yeah, he would go outside and look for cats and dogs.
Yeah. We're mentioning Dr. Temple Grandin, and I know you had her on your podcast, I believe. Can you tell our audience who she is? Because not only being autistic, she's also a big advocate, and she's done some other great things. Can you?
Oh yeah, she is the biggest autistic advocate in the world. She's changed the cattle industry big time. She's created the hug machine, the cattle dipping system, I think is if I remember correctly. And there's something else. And she changed how slaughterhouses operate.
She changed the humane way of handling cattle. And if she didn't have autism, she would never have been able to do that, because that to her, that's an ability.
Right.
The other young man that was on Sam's show, Armani Williams, who was a NASCAR driver, he would never be able to be as successful if he weren't autistic.
Yeah.
Because he gets in the car, straps in, and he's 100% hyper focused on driving.
Yeah, and Peter, sorry,
you're okay.
And Peter Lance, when he's a video game developer with autism, he skips steps. That's not me. I'm like, no, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. He's like M, L, Q, R, T.
He doesn't have to go through A through L.
But
he just goes right to M.
But because of Peter Lance's because he's so successful, to him, again, autism is an ability. He couldn't develop those games if his brain weren't wired the way that it is.
Absolutely. And I'm glad our audience is hearing this, because they're realizing that it's also a positive. I mean, It's not a negative. It's just people, autistic people see things differently. That's how the brain is wired, differently.
But
that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And we always, like, as far as the term like normal, I don't think that's fair, because nobody gets to choose that.
Right.
And even on the flip side of that, his brain is wired differently, 100%, but different than what? Like mine's wired differently. Yours is wired differently, but everybody's is wired differently. So even the word different is an okay way to describe it, but on the flip side of that, like different than what?
Or it's wired unique.
In a unique way, yeah.
I think that would be better than different.
I think unique's a good word.
Or eccentrically. I mean, that would be. I don't know if that's a word. But
eccentrically?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not sure about that.
I didn't know that was a word. I knew
I'll have to get on my iPhone and look at Google and see about that one.
I just know eccentrically was one.
Okay, I have another one for you. Talk about the sensory problems affecting autistic people. For example, sense of touch, smell, taste. I've read where autistic people have vision problems, sensitivity to light, hearing sensitivities. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Sure. I can't really do the eyes one because I don't have any eye problems. I'm kind of pretty chill with eyes. Well, I guess that is one. Good. Thanks for reminding me for that one. I have really bad depth perception. So in your eyes, if it's a mile away from me, it'd be like 20 feet. So that's why I don't drive. So for me, I'd hit the stop too early or a little too late. There's no middle ground. It's too early or too late.
Yeah.
And
what about sensitivity to light and hearing sensitivities, that type of thing? I mean, it may not affect you, but what about other friends you have that have autism?
Sure.
It does affect him though. Like there's
light doesn't affect me.
Not light, but sounds.
Sounds. I was ready to talk about that one. Sounds do affect me bad. I mean, there are certain sounds like I haven't. What's it called? Like what was that China from? It was made in China.
Like a music box.
Yeah, music box. Thank you.
Okay.
Music box, and I don't play it because it gives me really bad depression.
Yeah, it's just an off sound. He doesn't. And when he was little, like one of the first times we realized he might be autistic was when we would go to a fireworks show or try something like that. Like that was a nightmare.
Yeah.
That was horrible. And then like spontaneous noises when he was small, if he didn't know it was coming, like an air horn or a buzzer at a ball game or
Or
something.
maybe a car backfiring or something.
Or
like
someone
that.
startling me like someone did earlier.
Yeah, he still doesn't like to be startled, but I scare him anyway. So
And I pretty much
well, and then you don't like tags and stuff.
no, I don't like tags. I don't like holes on my shirt either.
Or wet clothes.
Oh, it's kind of depends on the wet clothes. If it's a shirt wet, no. I don't play the shirt wet game or
Gotcha.
if I want to enter wet t-shirt contest either.
I'm not entering you in any wet t-shirt contests.
Thank you.
Okay.
And it has to be, and the pants are fine, but the tip of them, if it's like right here,
You're really particular.
I'm very particular now because it feels like I'm just stepping on like a wet washcloth.
Yeah. I don't like tags either. So
No, I rip them out.
yeah. Tell me about hugs. I hear autistic people really like to be hugged. Is that true?
Yep. Yeah. Well,
So
half and half. I'd say depends on the person. Some people aren't going to be a good toucher or hugger or affectionate. I'm one of those people. I am not one of those people. Honestly, because I don't see I can live like that. Honestly, I'll be honest.
he's a hugger.
Yep. But I don't think some others are.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've met people that are on the spectrum and that just don't hug. I mean, I've talked to
Temple doesn't hug.
Yeah, Temple doesn't miss. Dr. Grandin does not hug. She doesn't make small talk. Whenever we were doing the interview, she was. It was an amazing experience to be able to meet her and talk to her. But I was so excited because I had used her TED Talk and we'd read books about her in my class.
She kicked you out.
And I was so excited. So before his interview, I sat down in front of the camera and I was like, oh my gosh, like Temple Grandin, and tried to talk to her. And she's just like shaking her head. And she said, can we do the interview? Can we go?
Yeah.
Like,
She
yes,
didn't
ma'am.
want- there's no small talk with her.
No, she's amazing.
Is she a professor out in Colorado?
At Colorado State University of
Okay.
Science. Mhm.
Yeah. So we know some autistic people practice what they call masking, where they hide their autistic traits. Did you ever do that? And what is your opinion of that? Do you think they're just being ashamed of having the disorder?
No. Okay. To answer, I'm going to give you 3 words. No and why.
Mhm.
Why do it?
Mhm.
You're not helping anyone. You're not helping yourself, your parents, especially your teachers or anyone around you masking it.
There's no reason to.
Right.
There's no reason to mask it.
I'm
And
gonna-
I don't want to speak from someone's perspective that has autism because I don't. And I don't want to, like say, well, this is what I would do because I have no idea. I mean, my role is to support Sam, but it makes me very sad. It
Yeah.
makes me really sad that society has made people feel like that they need to. We never did that. As soon as he was diagnosed, we went into action. We provided what he needed to be successful, and it's nothing. He embraces it. We embrace it. We embrace Sam. If we don't embrace the autism, which is a little piece of him, we don't embrace him at all. And that's not.
Yeah, you might as well just spit me in the air if you don't.
Yeah, that's not. I just think to me it's sad because we're all unique and we all should be celebrated.
Right. And being in the Male Breast Cancer Coalition and advocating for it, we have a lot of men that are diagnosed, and it's kind of like masking. They don't want to admit that they have what they call a quote woman's disease, although it's not. I mean, anybody can get breast cancer if you have breast tissue. So we go through that a lot with our men, and try to bring them out. And, we've had men that have actually talked about, doing away with themselves and that type of thing. So stigma, it's terrible that society puts a stigma
You're part of the
on
solution.
this stuff.
You are part of the solution. Just let you know you're part of the solution saying, hey, I had you quote unquote woman's disease, but I'm still living and I beat cancer. I mean, I don't care what cancer you get, as long as you beat it. Dang, I probably don't know if I could beat it.
Yeah, that's admirable just within itself to have the strength to.
We just had a meeting, and we had a international music mogul, I'm not going to name names, who had male breast cancer and decided that he was going to call it chest cancer instead, because obviously he was ashamed. And so we've been dealing with that kind of thing. And thank you. We're out there advocating just like you're advocating right now, to make people aware of autism and what it is.
And what would be awful, Grant, is if you called it boob cancer, because that would
that's just
be kind of, I'm not saying like to be mean, poke fun or anything.
Yeah, but that's just, again, that is just another like chest cancer rather than breast cancer. You call it what it is. I mean,
Exactly.
Like breast cancer and chest cancer.
Yeah.
Well, his thinking was that some of the men in the Black and brown community just couldn't cope with the word breast cancer, and he wanted to call it something else. And my suggestion to him was, okay, fine. If you want to use that term initially to get a conversation going, that's fine. But at the end of the day, tell them, hey, it's breast cancer.
Yeah.
It's not chest cancer.
Yeah.
So
Agree.
So what, Sam, are some of the biggest mistakes you believe autistic people and their families make going through life in regard to dealing with people?
We can't live on our own. That we can't be successful in life and go get a job, have a family, etc., etc. Do all the happy lifestyles, living your life, doing like being an adult. They can't be an adult. That is someone go help them with the bathroom every time. You could be right. But what about on the flip side for a minute? Let's think. What if he can't go in the bathroom well, yet he can cook something amazing?
Yeah.
What if someone can't drive, hint, hint, wink, wink, but yet he can do this for pretty darn well?
Yeah.
Good point, Sam. Good point.
In all different packages. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna name names. My friend, he's in a wheelchair. He can't walk. He's never been able to walk since
ever.
He was born with one leg.
Spina
bifida. I got a best friend who's on spina bifida. You probably won't mind me mentioning him. But I've seen like his movie. He's a big like not filmmaker, but he likes to write movie scripts. Holy crap, I could never do that.
Right.
Or even
you make good points. Gina, you want to add to that?
I was going to say with Sam, right now with, we've gone through the driving schools and, we've involved specialists with his depth perception, and we've, been to a rehabilitative center where
an eye doctor
where they kind of assessed him and drove with him, and it's just not going to happen right now. And that's okay. But he can't drive right now, but he can come to his studio and do things that I don't even know what he's doing. He might struggle with me saying, hey, like, this is how we do the laundry. Like, I understand that you're doing the laundry your way, but maybe the clothes aren't getting clean, or this is the way that's successful. He might struggle with that. But at the end of the day, there are so many things that Sam's good at.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it may be harder for us to get a job. I'm not saying that. I mean, I'm not trying to be condescending here.
It is harder.
It is harder.
It is harder
because that kid who can't go to the bathroom. I mean, it's gonna be hard to not do your thing and get out and go touch food.
Right. Well,
because I don't want anyone to,
Well, what I have heard Sam say too is like if you're looking specifically at autism, anybody on the autism spectrum, high or low, middle, maybe the umbrella with the PDD disorders or Asperger's or whatever it is, every human being has something to offer this
Yes.
world, no
Yes.
matter what it is. I don't care
Yeah.
if they are, I can think like Stephen Hawking's. I mean, he
Right.
was bound to a wheelchair. He couldn't speak, but look at what he contributed.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I can
absolutely.
someone else.
Yeah.
Like, if I can give another example, I'm
Don't
sure.
give names, but yeah,
Well, it's another one of my friends.
we don't give names.
I'm not going to give names.
Okay.
But he's very low too. I think you know which one it is.
Hmm.
He's extremely low, and everyone loved him at the school. He can't go because of Corona. But one thing I was able to see him do, and I got me happy, was he's a farmer,
Hmm.
and he pushed a hay bale. I thought,
Yeah, which is great.
tell me he can't go do something.
And another really good friend that you have is an extremely, he's on the spectrum, pretty low, but loves to bowl. And is on
Oh my
on
gosh,
a
yes.
bowling league.
And how much points has he gotten?
yeah, he's
he's-
very good.
He's gotten over
Right.
200 points.
Yeah,
Wow. He's had 200 games, huh?
he's had. I mean, he does
200
really well.
points. He strikes every time he bowls. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's my
Yeah.
man.
yeah.
Wow. That's great to hear. Okay, moving on. There are media stereotypes out there, such as autistic people being socially awkward, lacking empathy, being a genius. Now, hopefully, your advocacy efforts can reverse some of that. What do you think some of the biggest myths are out there regarding autism and autistic people?
Well, to be honest, I'm gonna make a little joke here. It's kind of funny because you said the media downplays it, yet I'm doing a media thing. But anyway, I'm gonna do some kind of fun. I'm not gonna dismiss them 100%. They're partially true. We lack empathy. They're correct. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we have empathy. No, I'm not
Sometimes you
saying
don't.
I don't have empathy. I can be cold. I mean, granted, I can be cold and be like, "What are you doing?" and make them feel stupid. I mean, not intentionally,
But Sam,
but I am
but
empathetic.
you're aware of it too.
Yeah, but
He's
I'm
very
empathetic though.
aware,
I can be empathetic though
Yeah, absolutely.
when the time comes to be.
Any other myths come to mind?
What were the other ones you said? There was another one you said.
Lacking empathy, socially awkward, being a genius.
Socially awkward. I'm not gonna dismiss that one either. Yes, we are. I mean, but guess what? I'm proud of it.
Yeah, but here's my thinking too with that is,
It's just harder. We may start a conversation, exit the conversation our own way. If you don't like it,
well,
you're not our time.
yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with you, but I feel like the myth lies in just because you have autism, that means you're going to be socially awkward. I don't have autism and I'm really socially awkward.
Oh yeah, you do the shoot dance and try
Like,
to
You don't
embrace
seem
that.
socially awkward to me.
Not really socially awkward, but I'm awkward. Like
Oh.
I'm weird and I embrace that.
Yes.
And that's, I guess what I'm saying is that just because you are on the spectrum doesn't mean you're going to be socially awkward.
There have been a
which-
lot of fun
which
nights.
most people on the spectrum are,
Yeah.
but then a lot of people off the spectrum are as well.
Yeah. There have been a lot of fun nights, honestly.
Yeah, you gotta have fun.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of fun nights because of our craziness, I think.
Yeah,
And our
for sure.
weirdness.
For sure.
Yeah, I bet you have some good times. I bet
Oh
you
yeah,
do.
she sings every time the song breaks out, and we make fun of it, call it Tourette's.
Yeah, I'm one of those people where if I hear a song lyric, then I break out in a song lyric.
Oh, it's funny too. It's bad funny.
Do you agree that kids with autism want to be included? Talk about the stigma and talk about again what is normal. And we've agreed that we don't really know what normal is.
Well, there's no normal, again, to kind of repeat, but we do want to be included. We want to be a part of something. I mean, granted, I don't know what that could be. Mine just happened to be media, but I was a part of something else. I mean, I'm almost a second degree black belt in Taekwondo, and I guess I wasn't socially right, but there's nothing as that, or I was a little socially awkward as that, but yet I fit in well and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that I think, again, like people that are on the spectrum, I've heard Sam say before, I just want I just want to be included.
But they treat the instructor. I know what I was going to say. I didn't mean, or I just didn't finish my thought. I just forgot.
Okay.
Everyone treated me like I was one of them, and the instructors treated me like everyone else. I mean, they understood. Yes, you have it, but you're going to do this. Period.
Yeah, they did. But that's what he.
And at the time, I thought, really, guys, come on. But then now looking back, I was like, oh, I love it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
knew, his instructors knew he had autism. Like they knew, but at the same time, they were like, well, I'm sorry, but if you want to get this black belt, you're still going to have to do this and this and this.
Karate
So,
kick.
I'm impressed. Black belt. I'm impressed.
almost a second degree.
You,
Yeah, she's a blue belt.
you might be a WWE star someday with all
I have the
that.
body for it.
You what?
I don't have the body for it.
Well, maybe not in the WWE, but maybe one of the other promotions.
There you go.
Maybe. But
Have you ever heard of AEW?
yeah, I don't watch that. I'm strictly WWE.
If they offered you enough money, would you go?
I think you're missing the boat on that one. You need to tune in on that. It's actually right here. I'm broadcasting out of Jacksonville, Florida, and that's where it's from. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
tune it in. I think it's on Wednesday nights on TNT.
Yeah, it is.
You got to tune in.
I will.
Yeah. Check it out. They got a lot of ex-WWE guys in there now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And to top it off, she's a blue belt in Krav Maga.
Oh, Krav Maga. Yeah. The Israeli defense. Yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
Yeah, I did it for 5 years.
Then your knee blew out.
And then I hurt my knee. And so
Okay. Well, we're going to keep you out of the Israeli army then.
Oh, Lord.
I still have it.
Oh, please. I could easily take you down.
I've got kind of a tricky question for you. And I threw this in here. Not to be insensitive or anything, but is the R word one of the worst things an uninformed person on autism could ever say?
Oh, that's one way to get on my bad side. And I'm sorry to say, but I'm sorry for the language, but if you say it, you piss me off, honestly.
Well, to him,
Yeah.
But as far as, like I don't really, this is just my personal opinion, and Sam can, of course have his own, but I don't feel like there's any place for it. A lot of people will say, well, it's a medical word. No, it isn't. It's not a medical word anymore.
It's an insult.
It's insulting, and like we live in a world now where there are other things that they can say, like on the spectrum, or but it's not acceptable.
No, it's
anymore.
not. And I'm a sale mouth. I'll admit it. You can say any word around me. The F-bomb, I don't care.
Yeah,
But if it's the R word, we're done.
yeah, we don't do that.
Right. And I just want everybody out there who doesn't know anything about autism to know, hey, you never use that word.
No, it's not
Around me, at least.
No,
around anybody, really.
I don't think you should use it ever. I was, I talk to my students about it because I teach 8th grade, and they are all the time. They don't do it in my classroom, but if they might do it once, but they'll say, oh, you're such the R word, and then I'll be like, why would you do that? Like, you don't know who's standing around you.
Right.
I have a son who's on the autism spectrum. Do you think you just offended me? And they'll be like, I'm sorry, but
They don't mean it.
you just have to, well, they might, but you just have to be careful because you don't know who's standing around.
Right. Right. And, for our audience, we have people, this podcast is going worldwide. We're putting it out on a lot of platforms, and we just want people to know, hey, what's acceptable and what's not. How many of your friends, Sam, have a background in understanding autism?
In understanding, wow, that's a good question.
Your friends now?
Yeah, friends now. Yeah, I think that's what it means. I'm trying to count. I have 3 that are on the spectrum, one spina bifida, so that's 3 automatically.
Right.
I have a woman friend who understands it because she has the saying, "I push the bail." That's her cousin.
I would say on average.
On average, most.
Oh, that's good.
I think they understand it because of Sam. And I think at this point now, his friends see Sam, and Sam just happens to have autism. And I don't think most people like his age or that he considers true friends, I don't think they put that first. I think that if they were introducing Sam, they would introduce Sam, and they wouldn't say this is Sam with autism.
I don't know, really. That's a good question.
Yeah, that is an interesting question.
Good one. I always do that because I'm not the best interviewer or interviewee sometimes.
Oh, you are
But
pretty
good question. Well, sometimes
I always try to ask questions nobody thinks they're going to get.
I like those
Make
questions.
it interesting for you,
And
right?
I do too. I just have a hard time, like, because I'm autistic. And like I said, I'm so blunt. I'm like, why we fight stuff? Let's just ask it.
Now, we know autistic people are prone to meltdowns and tantrums. Sam, what kind of situations can cause that?
Daily changes. Again, that could be one. And something that would probably cause any other child to probably melt down as well. Like, we can't get our favorite toy. Our favorite ice cream got vanished because we told that, oh, hey, we're going to ice cream, not there.
Okay.
But a tantrum and a meltdown, they're different. A tantrum can usually be defined as any kid that's just throwing a fit because they're not getting their way or something. But a meltdown can often be like neurological. It can be an overload of emotions or an overload of feelings that the brain can't. It's just so many things are firing and it can't be helped. Is what really the difference.
Yeah, and I still have. They're not external meltdowns; they're internal meltdowns. I basically just shut down.
Did those things happen early on when you were younger, and then subside after that, or
external, like that, yes.
Yeah.
But that's happened sometimes. Like, think of Walmart. I had a big one, I think.
Which time, dude?
How much?
Well, he started.
I didn't know I had one. I had one.
Yeah, he started having meltdowns at a pretty young age, and that was really one of the behaviors where we were like, okay, like this is our first child, and he's an only child, and we didn't really know. I mean, we were new parents, and but it was just different. It was, you walk past his toys and you move something on accident that might make a child kind of mad, and they might cry and be like, you moved my toy. But this was an hour, 2 hours of just complete massive sobbing and crying.
Wow.
And, not consolable. So
Good luck.
it was different.
Yeah, but I just have internals. I just don't talk and shut down. I mean,
yeah,
I had a lot of those. Believe me. Basically, I have really bad anxiety issues. I just do that. Like,
just shut down.
Yep. Kind of like that.
Sam, what prompted you to be a podcaster and an advocate for autism? And tell us a little bit about the podcast, Autism Rocks and Rolls, and what has been some of the highlights of doing the podcast so far for you.
Sure. So I started it in my media club after I found it at my local hospital's dance marathon, and when our school first had it. And I found media club. That's where I found it. And because I do my own school's podcast, Thundercast, or some of it. And I finally had enough of just doing that, and I want to add some to it, because if not, podcast would have grown out the window, would have got stale, and I didn't want to end this opportunity. So I came up with the name Rocks and Rolls, and I thought, well, what's the English teacher of her came out, and she, well, what's your purpose? And I wanted to help people. I want to help, and that's what I do. I mean, yes, yeah. I am gruff, but I want to help. So that's where she said, well, let's think of a purpose here. And I said, okay, let's be an autistic advocate, maybe. And I was like, okay, we can do that. And let's give that a shot. Boom. And then it's launched off since then. But some of the highlights you asked, interviewing some major celebrities, as you said.
Right.
I've done a TED Talk.
I'm familiar with that.
And
you want to explain that to the audience, though, what a TED Talk is?
Sure. So a TED Talk is where we had to do it virtual this year because of the virus, obviously. Wonder why. But anyway, it's a talk where you get on a stage, or you're sitting on your sofa, I guess, and you just talk about a topic and you public speak about it.
Yeah.
And that's what it mainly is. And I done mine over why autistic people need structure in their life.
Okay.
And then one more highlight is this is a recent one. I've had some sponsors, which we'll shout out to. We'll give a shout out to Wellspring Pain Solutions, Commercial Service, Salon 45, Blue Boy Chocolate Store, and Little Blues Tattoos.
Perfection Auto Glass.
And Perfection Auto Glass. And what a recent one is I won. I'm in the JAG program as well. And that's it. Like they teach you job skills, and I think that's really good for me.
And entrepreneurship.
Yep. But I won the entrepreneurship plan, and I'm going to go to $300, and I won that. But I'm also going to go to the state.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He entered
That's awesome.
And won his region, and so now all of the region winners go to Indianapolis, Indiana soon and compete.
Wow.
There, so it's really exciting.
That should be great.
It is great. I'm nervous as heck though. Just
Oh, you'll do fine. You'll do fine.
I mean,
It's okay. It's okay to be nervous. Once you get in there, though, the butterflies will go away.
Yeah, and that's the thing I'm good at too with autism is autistic people don't really express themselves that well. Guys came the polar opposite with me.
Yeah, he's always been able to.
I'll tell you, if I'm mad, I'm mad. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I like that. I like you express yourself well. Sam, what are you most excited about for the future? And will you continue to be an advocate for autism and a voice for those affected with autism?
Yes. But as far as podcasting, I don't know. That's I always ask you, like, and if we ask me to time travel for 5 years, you just get shot back out of the time traveling machine because I wouldn't know. I can't give you a straight answer.
Right.
It's only time will tell on that one.
Well, I mean, he is
Literally.
Yeah, he is college bound. I mean, he's going to go to our local college is what he wants to do for like general classes, and then he'll transfer to a bigger school in Indiana for media or maybe something else. But we're just going to ride it until see where it goes.
Sure.
That's all we can do.
Just see what the road takes you down. Sam, what are the most important things you want people out there to know or realize about people with autism? And how would you like people to treat autistic people?
Like you're one of us. Treat us like any other person. But I want people to know that we're not broken. We're not stupid. We don't need to be fixed. We're fine living the way we are. Will it be hard some days? Yes. Will there be some really good, successful days? Oh, yeah. That I can guarantee.
Sam, where can people follow you?
They can find me on Podbean, Spotify, Stitcher, LinkedIn, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud and iHeartRadio.
All right. Do you have a website?
Yes, it is called www.autismrocksandrolls.com, and that's where you can find everything about me.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a good starting place. He has a sponsorship website as well that's linked to the website, but for ad space wise, he's booked until I want to say like February 2022. But he is offering some kind of mini sponsorships and other opportunities for that. So that's all on the website. And we actually, his merchandise is on the website now, but we're in the process of switching to like an online store for his merchandise, but I'm still in the middle of that. But
Okay. Tell us about your merchandise. I'm interested in this.
All right. So we have offered paracord bracelets, COVID-19 awareness mask, shirts, and decals.
Wow.
Well, those are what he's selling now. But like I said,
we're making bobbleheads, by the way, at some point.
Bobbleheads. I love those things.
Yeah, we're switching to like I said, an online store, and I actually was just working on that. But eventually, we're gonna have sweatpants and sweatshirts and mugs and the whole gamut of things. So that's coming within a month, probably.
So are the bobbleheads going to be of you?
Oh yeah. If you want bobbleheads,
I may have to get one of those.
Can we have some of me?
No. Okay, of course we can. I'll tell you what. We'll have one of the whole family.
The whole family,
including our dad.
Are we gonna have your picture on a mug as well?
We're not having a mug shot, but
like a coffee mug.
Maybe. I just kind of want the guitar really, to be honest with you.
Oh, well,
Or my logo.
he has his logo, which is really cool. He had that specially designed. And then my dad is an artist, so he does all of the artwork for his shirts. So he's got some
Wow.
pretty cool shirts. But yeah, the bobbleheads will be cool.
Yeah,
I want
that'd be cool.
bobbleheads.
I'm looking forward to the bobbleheads. All right. Well, I want to thank you for being a guest, and I hope you will continue on your path to being the successful person you are and making a difference in this world. I will include all the links that your mother Gina mentioned in the podcast notes. And I want to thank everyone for listening. I want everybody out there to stay safe. And for now, it's a wrap.